This is a audio system that I put together using some components that I refurbished as well as some new stuff. At the bottom there's two QSC1400 amplifiers. The one on the bottom is for the subwoofer, and the one on the top is for the tops. And then up from there is a three-way crossover, and up from there is an EQ, 31 band EQ, and then from up there is an MP3 player, and above that's a preamp and a power control, AC power control system made by Pullizzi Engineering. I mean, the components here, you know, the EQ and the crossover, yeah, they're Behringer's, but you got to start somewhere. And from what I'm seeing so far, there aren't that many issues with it. So pretty happy with it overall. It's the back of the unit, and at the top is a 1U rack panel with the sub and left and right outputs coming out on speak-on connectors, and then they're wired with 12 gauge wire down to the amplifier binding posts below. And then the bottom amplifier, which is the sub, is set up to be bridged 600 watts, and the top amplifier is set up to be non-bridge stereo 200 watts per channel, 8 ohms. And then you see a bunch of the XLR connectors that are connecting all the various systems together. There's a homemade preamp up in here that I made, which is XLR outputs. You can see it there in the middle, and then a bunch of RCAs coming in. That's what I use to feed in from the television and the MP3 player and the CD player. That is made out of boards that you can get off eBay. You can get the balanced to unbalanced board, and the phonojack boards, and a tone control board. And by changing the gain on the resistors, the XLR board had ×10 gain on it, and I ended up changing that to ×1 because the tone control board had ×10 gain on it. It was just way too much. But there's a toroidal transformer in there, and it's let me flip the rack around again. You can sort of see the front of it, and here's the front. And see, there's a selector knob, and then the tone controls, which can be switched out. That's a modification to the tone control board itself, and the volume control, and then over here is power. So yeah, you know, it's pretty low end. This has some pretty low end stuff in it, but as far as signal processing, but it seems to work, and there aren't any major issues with it. So it's definitely much better than standard stereo receivers. I'm really impressed with the tightness of the bass, and it's been a success. So there you are.